this computer. Hi, Athena. Good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, Pino, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's Friday and it feels like so cold today. It's like it's freezing today.
Today feels like winter,
Right?
although it's
Right?
coming. So, we're
Right?
feeling the right things.
Right? We're a month away from Christmas. I can't believe the whole year has just flown by.
I think for a good chunk of the year, good half of the year, I was feeling day by day. It was moving at a good flow. I
Yeah.
think, enjoying it day by day. It didn't feel like it was going too fast or too slow.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden September hit
Yeah.
and all hell broke loose. And yeah, I'm
Yeah.
feeling it. The end of the year is right around the corner.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So, Athena, you and I go. We've known each other for years, but you're doing some consulting now. But we're going to talk about today, which is a topic you and I are both excited to talk about. We're going to talk about how or can you negotiate a salary, and we'll talk about all things salary and negotiations and things of that. So, before we jump into our topic, just tell our audience who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I'd like to start off by thanking you for having me
Oh,
on here. I always enjoy our conversations, and we have known each other a long time. So I'm gonna guess about 15 years, maybe
wow.
less, but around that.
Yeah, it goes way back. Yeah.
Um, so you're someone that I connected with when I was in the corporate world. We connected on a work level, on me looking for a job as well. So you've been someone that I've reached out to when I was looking for work.
Yeah.
And we've just kept networking. We just keep in
Yeah.
touch, and we have a lot of topics that connect our businesses.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy working with you. So I appreciate you having me here. Thank you
Oh,
so
my pleasure.
much. My background is HR. This is what I studied. This is what I've been doing for the last 30 some odd years, which ages me a little bit. And it's scary that I've been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
And throughout my career, having had lost my career a couple of times, lost my job, I was wondering whether or not I wanted to stay in HR. And the truth is, this is what I like to do. This is where I like to be. I really like helping people. I like the networking aspect and just, being a part of people's journey as they move on in their careers. And having worked in the corporate world for many, many years, I'm going to say for the last four, I kind of moved away from corporate and I'm doing some freelance, I'm doing consulting, and I focus on small businesses. I mean, I love the corporate world, and there's so many things to learn from it.
Yeah.
But I think where I am in my career right now, I think I can help smaller organizations, and I benefit with my experience and what I know and my knowledge, and helping them make an impact with their people and their HR. So
Yeah.
small mom and pop shops. And when I say small, for me, a small organization is, uh, I'm going to say under 50 people,
Okay.
50 employees. Under 100 works as well,
Yeah.
but under 50 is where I feel I can really impact and I can make a change.
Okay. Awesome. Perfect. A little bit about me. I'll give you my quick 30-second elevator pitch. My name is Pino. I run and operate a company called the Staffing Alternative. We specialize in the temporary and permanent and executive placement of HR professionals throughout Ontario and Canada. I'm doing some work across Canada as well too now. So I will keep it short and simple, but that's who I am in a nutshell. And as you know, Athena, I've been in the space for quite some time. So it's been a long journey for me as well too. But I generally love what I do.
That's nice to hear because not very many
Yeah.
people can say that.
No, right? So, okay, Athena. So we're gonna talk about again, love this topic. We're gonna talk about salary. Can you negotiate it? Can you negotiate a salary? How is the salary dictated? Like who decides how much the salary is, and how much should you ask for? We're talking about all those things on this quick call. We won't be long. We'll talk about 20, 30 minutes and such. But I do want to start with this. Athena, from you worked in HR for years. Who decides when let's say you're looking for an HR business partner, let's say, who decides what the pay band is? Like, how does the executives know, okay, this is what an HR business partner typically earns? Let's start there.
Well, salaries are decided through pay scales and benchmarking. So most likely they've reached out to a compensation company or they've done their own research and looking at what the benchmark is. And benchmark has a lot to do with where you're located. Are you in Ontario? Are you in BC? Are you in Alberta? all this makes a difference. Are you in Quebec? So location makes a difference, and it's not just province-wide, but it's city-wide too. So someone working in Toronto will make a different salary than someone working in Sudbury in
Yeah.
HR.
Yeah.
Numbers are not pulled from the sky. You really have to work with people who are knowledgeable and who understand the benchmarking,
Yeah.
and work with specific ranges. That's
So
kind of how it works.
what are some organizations that do the benchmark? Is that I remember, is it Hayes that does it, or
There's Hayes, there's Mercer,
yeah, Mercer's
there's
a big
trying to
one.
think of some others, but those are kind of the more common ones, and they're big
Yeah.
companies, and they've been doing this a long time, so the
Yeah.
information is pretty accurate. And they do
Okay.
this on an annual basis.
They do it once a year. The organizations will do this once a year.
Yep, they have
Okay.
accurate information for sure.
Okay. But it also depends also too on the industry as well too. Like I know manufacturing, hospitality, all these industries or sectors pay different though, even though they have a pay band. Like I know hospitality doesn't pay as high as maybe let's say maybe manufacturing, let's say. Would you
That's
agree?
right. So absolutely. It's not just location. And when I'm talking about benchmarking, I focused on location, but it has to do with the industry too. I
Yeah.
worked in the publishing industry for a lot of years, and they weren't known for, high salaries when you compare them to pharmaceutical,
Yeah.
which is, really high up there. Some
Yeah.
professional services are also pretty high. So depending on where you land in what industry you're in,
Yeah.
that too will have a lot to do with what type of salary and what level you'll be at.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Athena, salary. So I've encountered this over the years. I mean, this comes. I've placed so many people doing this. I've lost so many deals because of this. I think compensation is a sticking point for so many people. Um, and I think people need to understand when they do start their job search what their value is, right? Like what am I worth in the market? What am I worth? 5 years of experience. So before you start your job search, I think it is critical to understand is okay, I've got 5 years of experience. What is my worth in the market, right? And I see this. I talk to so many candidates throughout the week, and they say, they tell me what they're looking for in terms of salary, and a lot of them make sense. A lot of them like, whoa, that's asking for way too much, right? So before you start your job search, I would suggest, and you can agree or disagree with me, understand what your value is in the market. What is your is again, how many years experience, and what does that equate to in terms of a base salary? Would you agree?
Yeah, I see this too when we talk about salaries with people. Either they're already um, in the workplace, or they're just starting their careers. And, putting a price tag to what you're valued at is really hard. And of course, we all think we should be paid more than we actually are. That only makes sense. But there's a lot of factors that you need to consider. So someone who's straight out of school, just starting out, obviously doesn't have the experience, doesn't have that much value to bring, won't be paid as high as someone who's been in the workforce for 5, 10, 15 years. So some roles and some jobs do pay higher, but what you're valued at, you have to figure that out. And I always suggest that people give a range, but not a big range. I mean, saying you want to make 80 to 90, saying you want to earn 80,000 to 100,000, that's a big range,
That's a big
right?
range.
But
Yeah.
that's a big range. And so that number could be anywhere between 80 and 100. And will you be happy with something that's closer to 80? Probably not. Because when you
Yeah.
say 80 to 100, you're
Yeah.
looking at the 100 mark a lot closer than you're looking at the 80
Yeah.
mark. So you really need to be realistic in the number that you're going to put out there, and you need to do your homework.
Yeah.
What's the industry? What do they pay? What do other companies are paying within those ranges and for that role? Go to Indeed, do a little search, ask around,
Yeah.
look at other job postings. What are
Yeah.
people being paid for that same job that you want, with the same qualifications that you have, offering the same experience?
Yeah.
This is what you need to look at. And it has to be you have to be comparing apples to apples. You can't
Yeah.
just be pulling numbers from the sky. You can't
Yeah.
compare manufacturing in the same role. You can't look at an accountant in the manufacturing company and an
Yeah.
accountant who's in a pharmaceutical company. It's
Yeah.
just, you're not comparing the same thing.
Yeah.
And you have to be realistic, right? We all want to earn more money. We all have bills to pay. We all have responsibilities, and so looking at what's realistic to your situation, what you offer, what you bring to the table is what you really need to consider here.
Yeah. I totally agree. And also too, like there's companies that offer like salary, like again, before you start the job search, like go to Mercer, like I offer salary guide as well too. So I actually put one together at the beginning of the year where it outlines what one is earning in the different sectors and what can expect to earn, right? So with again with 10 years experience, what could you expect to earn? So if anyone's watching this, I do have a salary guide I can share with you. But yeah, I think that's important. Before you start the job search, understand the value, get that data, get that intel and understand what your value is. Because again, I speak to so many candidates, Athena, and they're like, "Oh, I'm looking for 90K." You've got 2 years experience. That makes no sense,
Yeah,
right?
and where did you come up with 90K is what
Where'd you
I
come
want
up
to
with
know.
that
That's kind
number,
of what I
right?
ask people. Yeah, when
That's
they
what they
throw
want to
numbers at me,
earn.
but okay, but where did you come up with 90? Why didn't you say 100 and why didn't you say 50? You said
Yeah,
90. So
yeah,
obviously you pulled that from somewhere and
yeah,
maybe it's valid,
yeah,
but explain your logic. Tell me where this
yeah.
came from.
Where'd you come up with
Explain
that
to
number?
me, and
Yeah,
I'm more than happy to listen, but I
yeah,
need to know where it came from because you
yeah.
can't just pull numbers from the sky.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Like I spoke to again someone last week, and she had a couple years experience, and she was asking for a ridiculous amount of money. I'm like, this does not make any sense. And my job is not to push anyone and say, no, you should be earning this. When I'm talking candidates, okay, tell me what you're looking for. If this doesn't make any sense, I'm not excited about talking to you because there's not, it just doesn't, it's not aligned with maybe the role that I may be looking for talking to them about at that time, right? So make sure you know your value, I would say, and do your research,
Yeah,
right? So,
absolutely.
so okay.
Absolutely.
Athena, can you, when you are back to corporate days, when you did present candidates with an offer, right? And let's just for argument for discussion's sakes, you offered 70,000, and then the applicant said, no, I'm looking for a little more money. I'm looking for 75. Can an applicant do that? Can they actually do that, or is that frowned upon?
It depends on what was discussed
Okay.
during the recruitment process. So, I talked about a range and having a clear range in your mind. So,
Yeah.
if your range is 70 to 75, let's say,
Yeah.
and this is what you put out there, this is what you communicated when asked, this was the number you gave. I always ask people to be clear in their mind of what number would they be willing to accept. So if I tell a company 70 to 75, if they offered me 71, would I be happy with that?
Yeah.
Would I be okay with 71? Or no, it's a deal breaker. I want 75. So in your
Yeah.
mind, it needs to be clear what number you will be happy with. And if
Yeah.
you're not going to be happy with the 70, but you really wanted 75, then you need to make that clear up front.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
know it sounds like you're asking for too much and you don't want to seem like you're uh, what's the word? You're imposing your view.
Yeah.
But you need to be clear on what number in your mind makes the most sense
Yeah.
because you in your mind want the higher number and you're offered a lower number, you will never be happy.
Yes.
It'll always be nagging at you. You'll always be upset. You'll always have that thought that you're not paid the amount that you should be. And
Yeah.
so disengagement starts, no interest in the role starts. You start to see the negative aspects of the job. And if another opportunity comes your way with a number that you were actually looking for, then you'll
Yeah.
probably take it. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you have to be clear. You have to, I
Yeah.
always say, you know, give that range and be clear on the number you want and
Yeah.
communicate that. They don't they don't hit that number, you will never be happy. And then
I,
if you do accept the job with a number that you're not happy with, um, and if you're going to be waiting for that salary increase, well, it may never
yeah.
come because
Yeah.
it's just not how it works.
Yeah, I agree, and so I always tell this when I'm working with applicants is that what are your main drivers? Is it the base salary? Is that your main driver? Is it the location? Is it leadership? Is it hybrid versus remote? Or maybe it's all of that, right? So find out what your main drivers. Find out what's most important to you, again, including salary, and then when you get the offer, look at the whole package. Don't just focus on the base number. Are you going to a place where you can learn and grow and develop? Is this an opportunity? Do you see this as I'm going to be here for the next 5 years? Or I'm working with a great leader, so I don't mind taking a little less money, right? So this is where it gets tricky for people, right? So, but I think, like you said, once you get that,
All
go ahead.
sorry to interrupt you. Everything you're saying is so true and so valid, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's
Yeah,
just I find
yeah,
that that number is all they focus on. People
yes. No,
understand
not everyone.
the
No, not everyone.
people understand the big picture. They understand the benefits. They understand location, especially with,
Yeah,
traffic in Toronto. They
yeah,
understand leadership and growth. These
yeah,
are nice words, but those words don't pay my bills.
yes,
So they focus on the number and they want to make sure that it's the number that is the right one in their mind and one that they can live with moving forward and one that they will be able to pay their bills with.
yeah, yes.
That's what it comes down to.
Yes. Okay, let me ask you this. If you're working with an applicant and so you present me, Athena, with an offer for 70,000, and I'm an HR business partner, I say, Athena, thank you for the offer, but you know what? I'm really looking for 75. If I can get 75, this I'm going to sign the offer. I'm going to join your organization. I'll be there in 2 weeks. Would you see that as a negative, as a positive? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't see that as a negative. I see that as someone who's confident in knowing what they want, what they need,
Yeah,
and what they're asking for.
yeah,
And if they're willing to walk away over 5 grand, then I think the company should really rethink that offer. If they are truly the right person, the right candidate,
yeah,
qualified with all the bells and whistles that you're looking for in a candidate, because they are hard to come across
yeah,
nowadays,
yeah.
then 5 grand is not going to break the bank.
Yes.
Um,
To the applicant or
and
to the organization? Because you can make the argument, you say, well, if the candidate's willing to walk away for 5 grand, and then, but then if the company says, no, I'm not going to take, this is 70,000, we're firm on this. So you can look at it through two
but if
lens,
you were,
right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And if the range that you've determined in your hiring process, and if like you have that flexibility of the 5 grand, then why not use it?
Yeah,
Why not use it if you had that flexibility? If
yeah,
you said in your posting or in your budget you have the range of 70 to 75, then why not go
yeah,
to the 75 and hire
yeah,
the person that you really wanted, who's really interested and who really wants to come work for you? But just,
yeah.
it's a negotiation now over
Or
salary.
yeah. Or you could pitch it, hey, listen, I can't give you the 75, but I can offer you the 72. But keep in mind, there's also a 10% bonus paid out annually at the end of the year if you meet the performance metrics or expectations, right? So it's how you deliver it, right? I can't go to 75, I can do the 72, but I can do this for you, right? So it's all about negotiations. But uh, does it look bad like if a candidate asks for more money? Do you say, you know what, I don't want to deal with them. They seem like they're giving me headaches already from the beginning. I don't want to deal with that. Can you pause for 30 seconds? Because this sun is absolutely killing me. Sorry, Tina.
It's
It,
okay.
it got really bright all of a sudden.
Yeah, yeah, I see it. I see it.
Okay, I think that's a little better. So
There
yeah,
you
so
go.
there we go. I think that's a little better. So Athena, yeah. So does the organizations look like I don't want to deal with this guy. He looks like he's a headache to begin with. He knew the salary rate from the beginning. I don't want to deal with his headaches. Like, let's just walk away. Is that like thoughts? What's your thoughts on that or opinions on that?
I think it all depends on what the discussion was from the get-go. And if from the beginning the person was waffling and wishy-washy and you get to the end stage and now they're walking away, then that's an indicator of what you're going to be dealing with as an employee. But
Hmm.
if it was made clear from the beginning what the employee wanted and what
Yep.
they were looking for, and
Yep.
you're not meeting that expectation, then I
Yeah.
don't see it as a negative. I just see it as someone who, look, was clear with you from the beginning, knew what
Yep.
they wanted, and was aligning towards that expectation. So
Yep.
it's not a negative.
Yep. I I don't see the negatives. Okay, so here's my opinion on this. When I'm speaking to applicants, it's one of the first questions I ask. I say, my first question is, why are you looking for a new opportunity? And then secondly, in the interest of saving time, what are you looking for in terms of a base salary? Because I don't want to spend a half hour on the phone and then find out, hey, this person's looking for 300,000 and I'm only at 150. So I always ask right at the beginning. So I always ask them, what are you looking for in terms of salary? If they say I'm looking for 100K, great. Let's have a discussion. The pay band for this role is 100 to 110. Would you consider 10K for a move? Oftentimes people say yes or no, I would need this. So I always, for me, when I talk about money and compensation, it's one of the first things I address. Once you address salary and compensation, get that out of the way,
Yep.
and then we can figure it out. Because I've found over the years, Athena, you get to the final stages where people have gone for 5, 6 interviews, then you get to the offer, and then the numbers aren't aligned, and then it falls apart.
Yep. And, interesting that you say this because most managers who hire are afraid to address that from the beginning, right?
Yes.
That's kind of
Yeah.
the last part of the conversation that they have with the candidate, which
Yeah.
I agree is totally wrong. You can't
Yeah.
do the whole song and dance, get really excited, everyone's interested, and then you can't agree on salary, then how much time have you wasted? So
Yeah.
absolutely, salary should be discussed right from the beginning.
Right.
And that's kind of my philosophy as well. When I speak to candidates and when I speak to people, is number one question is why are you looking to leave? Like
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
me let me get a feel for what's going on here and why you're looking for a new opportunity because some of those reasons may not be good ones for the company that you're going to,
Yeah.
whether it's location, whether it's the hybrid piece, the remote,
Yeah.
like let's talk about this a little bit. And yeah, the second question, which I would probably put first on the list, but you can't exactly say, "Hey, hi, how are you? What are your salary expectations?" Right? Like
Yeah. You
it's
you
that's
can't
not
you
how
can't
you do it.
yeah, you can't lead off with that. You can't lead off with that.
Yeah, you
But I
can't lead
think
off with that.
yeah, but I think
But asking what the salary is absolutely important. Top
yeah,
on the list. First part of the discussion.
yeah, see, we've been taught that no, if you ask salary that it's looked as a negative. Do you still believe that, or do you think that
No,
that conversation has changed?
absolutely not. No, I don't see it as a negative at all. I think
Yeah.
that should be first on the list as part of the
I
discussion.
I think
Introductory
so
meeting,
too.
introductory discussion.
I think so too. Just rip off the band-aid. Let's just get to this. Like, why are we like in the effort to save time, right? Like, I don't want to spend an hour on the phone with you and only to find out that we're not on the same page in terms of base salary, right? So I think in previous year, or we were taught don't ever talk about salary because then they'll think that you're only money motivated. And to your
No.
point, we've all got bills to pay.
Yeah. And I always tell people that that's the primary. Well, we work for money. You don't work for free,
Right?
right? You work for money. Some people, work because they want to and don't really need the money, and that's great for them. But that's not the majority of the people out there. So we work for money.
Yeah.
We expect a good pay. We want to be able to make ends meet. It's unfortunate that most of society works paycheck to paycheck, but that paycheck
Yeah.
means something, and you
Yeah.
need that money
Yeah.
to live. That's what we
Yeah.
need it for.
We got to live and pay our bills, right? So the money's important. But again, I always go back to when I'm speaking with applicants or I'm working with an applicant and I say, listen, just consider the complete package, the annual bonus. Is there a pension? Annual merits, annual incentives, things of that nature. So don't always focus on the base salary. And I find HR professionals are not money is they're not their main driver. Again, most people want to work in an organization where they're learning, they're growing, they feel appreciated, they have a voice, they love the company culture. So, those are things that I think drive most people. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It has to be the full package. It can't
It's
just be the money.
yeah,
But I do believe that money counts, that number counts, whatever it is you associate yourself
yeah,
with that number.
yeah,
And the rest of it makes a big difference too, because it has to do with your lifestyle. It has to
yeah,
do with how you can provide for your family. It has to do
yeah,
with a balance, and all these things count.
yeah,
And what we're seeing with youngsters today is it's not so much the money anymore, and
no,
maybe it's not the big package, but it's
no,
what's the value of this company and what do they
yeah,
stand for, and
yeah,
how is it customized to me,
yeah,
and what's in it for me. That's really
yes.
important today.
Yeah, to your point, also too, I think Athena, more candidates they're asking more questions than in previous years. Like okay, tell me about the leader. What is he or she like? Tell me about the company culture. They're asking more questions now. So today's job seeker is much different than they were maybe 15, 20 years ago. I think they're asking more questions now. They're diving deeper into the role and want to find out more about the organization. It's not just about, okay, the role and the pay. It's not about that. And then you get into hybrid and remote. Most job
Yep.
seekers, that's important to them as well too, that offering that flexibility. Can I work from home 2 or 3 days a week, right? So that's important to job seekers as well too, right? And I know most
Mm.
organizations are bringing people back, but if you don't offer that hybrid or remote, you may be missing out on talent. So, but that's
Agreed.
another we could talk. That's another we could talk about hybrid and remote. What that's another complete topic. But
Yeah, we've got another couple of hours
I know,
for that
right?
one.
I know, right? But yeah, but I just think these are the key things for people. It's not just about that base salary. It's the total comp, and they have a checklist of what they're looking for, right?
Yeah, they definitely do ask a lot of questions. They ask really good questions too.
Yeah,
And they're really looking for customization. So everyone will have a question that's really, based on what they're looking for their life and for their career.
yeah. And every individual is different, and what works for someone may not work for someone else. So everyone's different. But
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. Athena, I'm gonna wrap up. Thanks for this quick chat. But as I wrap up, for those who are watching this video right now and want to connect with you, please let us know how we do that.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. So Athena Iliadis is my name and my handle on all social. So
Yeah,
LinkedIn is a good place. Instagram is another great place. Feel free to email me, or if you find my phone number somewhere, just give me a call. I'm open to conversations. I'm open to networking, as everybody should be networking too.
that's yes. Networking is the key to finding your next great job. I find most jobs are found through networking, right? So. Right. And again, I will wrap up. My name is Pino. Again, I recruit HR professionals. If you're looking for your next opportunity, connect with me, or if you're a hiring manager and you're looking to add to your team, I also encourage and welcome you to connect with me. I'm pretty easy to find. You can track me on LinkedIn. So, Athena, I will wrap
Thanks,
up.
Pino.
Yes, thanks for your time. Have a great weekend, and
You too.
we'll talk soon. Okay.
Thanks so much.
Awesome. Have a great one. Take care.